Problem 2 on page 18 says, you are borrowing glasses from the cafeteria to serve the punch. Each glass holds 6 fluid ounces of punch. Your class expects that 70 students and 90 parents and community members will attend the reception. You decide to make enough punch so that each person who attends can have 1 glass of punch. How many fluid ounces of punch will you need for the reception? First, I want to try and find out how many people will actually be attending the reception. The problem says that there will be 70 students and 90 parents and community members. So all I need to do is add the students with the parents and the community members, and I find that 70 plus 90 is equal to 160 people. Next, I'll need to know the number of fluid ounces that I'm going to want to serve. If I have 160 people, and each glass holds 6 fluid ounces, I need to multiply the people times the fluid ounces. 160 times 6 gives me 960 ounces. So that means I will need 196 ounces for the reception. Number 2 says, previously you wrote rates to compare parts of each ingredient to total parts, or a part to whole. Recall that the rate is a ratio in which the units of the parts, or the whole, is being compared are different. So rates have different units, and ratios have the same rates. Number 2 says, determine the unit rate for the fluid ounces of punch there would be in 1 part of the recipe if your class uses Adam's recipe. We just found out that we needed a total of 960 ounces for the reception, and Adam's recipe had a total of 12 parts. We need to set up a proportion to figure out how many are in 1 part of Adam's recipe. This is scaling down because you're going from 12 to 1. So how do I go from 12 to 1? Well, I divide by 12. I need to do the same thing on the top. 960 divided by 12, and I should get 80 ounces. Number 3 says, how many fluid ounces of lemon lime soda and grapefruit juice are needed to make enough punch if your class uses Adam's recipe? Well, I just found out that with Adam's recipe, there's 80 ounces in 1 part. If I look back on page 16, it tells me that Adam had 4 parts lemon lime soda. I can see that I'm going to be scaling up because going from 1 to 4 gets bigger, so I'm going to multiply. 1 times 4 is equal to 4. If I do that to the bottom, I also need to do that to the top. So 80 times 4 gives me 320 ounces of lemon lime. If I'm going to try his grapefruit, well, again, we figured out that there were 80 ounces in 1 part for Adam. And again, if you look back on page 16, it says that Adam uses 8-part grapefruit. I'm going to be scaling up because going from 1 to 8, I get bigger. I have to multiply 1 by 8 to get 8. So if I do the same thing on the top, 8 times 8 should give me 640 ounces of grapefruit. Numbers 4, 5, and 6 want you to go through and do the same exact thing we did for Adam, except now try it with Bobby, Carlos, and Zeb's recipes. Remember that your first step is going to be to find out how many fluid ounces are in one part. We found out that we need a total of 960 ounces for the entire reception, and that's using 8 parts for Bobby's, because Bobby has a total of 8 parts in her recipe. Then you need to find the unit rate. Whatever you get for the unit rate is what you're going to be using to compare and find out her lemon lime and her grapefruit juice.